Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to swatch NATASHA DENONA's new Tropic eyeshadow palette for you. This is a limited edition palette and it retails at Sephora for $129. If you want to see where to purchase this product and also see a review and up-close photos of the swatches, a full review after I've tested out the palette on the eyes and throughout the day, make sure you check the description box for links to those things. And as always, a link to the blog sales also in the description box below. The palette contains 15 shades, and NATASHA DENONA's description of the palette is that it contains 15 limited edition new tropical shades in NATASHA's new long-lasting cream powder formulas, combined with her classic signature formula. There's a range of matte and metallic finishes and a pop of colors and pastels. Now I know that there's controversy over the products or the pan size containing less product than the other palettes that NATASHA DENONA has sold, so that you're paying more per ounce or per gram. I'm not going to get too much into that. There are a ton of articles already written about that if you want to read in detail. But at the end of the day, my opinion is everything that NATASHA DENONA sells is incredibly expensive. That said, you will probably never use up any palette that you purchase from this company unless you are very strict and you only have a couple palettes in your collection and you always use those palettes. Practically speaking, you're not going to get your full money's worth anyway, because during an entire lifetime you probably won't get to the end of the pan. So I do think that there is something to be said about it being allegedly a new, improved or new formula, and therefore the cost going up a little bit per ounce. And conversely, I think at the end of the day it probably just doesn't really matter. If you're a person who's spending over $100 on a palette and you think that you will use the entirety of the product in that palette, and therefore that it's going to somehow be an issue that you get a little less product per dollar, I think that's maybe not a realistic view of the practical impact of the change in the formula and the change of the price per ounce. All right, all that said, let's get looking to the actual colors, how they apply in swatches. As always, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss out on videos and upcoming giveaways. All right, let's look at the swatches for the Tropic eyeshadow palette. All right, so as always, I will go by row from left to right, and I will do swatches by row, so I'll do 5 swatches at a time, since that's how the palette is divided. But here's a quick look at the shades up close before we get to swatching them. And as always, I swatch these over an eyeshadow primer. All right, we start with Peach Puff. This is a matte medium peach, medium to darker peach. Second is Sangria. This is a dusty reddish rose, also matte finish. Fake Tan is a light to medium peachy matte tan shade. Cocoa is a medium, fairly neutral matte brown. And Sahara is a light to medium yellow based nude, also matte. Okay, so here is the top row of the palette. All of these shades are matte, and they all have very nice color to them, and they applied very smoothly over the skin. In the second row we have Nudist, which is a matte peachy pink. Vintage Taupe, which is a really dusty rose taupe. Pastel Melon, it's a pretty accurate shade description. It's a pale melon shade, also a matte. Next is Goosty. And this is probably a color you might want to pat on either with a brush or with your fingers, but this is a peachy orange color with a silver and red flash to it. I'm going to pat on just a little more color. Limoncello is a very pale frosty yellow with a white metallic flash. Alright, so there is the middle and second row from the palette. You got 3 mattes on the left, and then we're starting with the metallic and shimmery shades with the 2 right ones. Alright, for the bottom row, we start with Mint Frost. This is another one of those more chunky metallic shades. It's a medium, I would say almost like a teal mint color with a silver, strong silver metallic flash. Exotic. Whoa, the formula on this shade is totally different. In the pan, this looks like a really beautiful primary green. It has a metallic finish, but wow, the way that this is going on the skin is not great at all. Totally different from the other shades in this palette. Laguna is a really bright matte pool blue. Tiger Lily is a medium to deep cool blue. I'm picking up more product and dabbing it onto the skin. That first layer wasn't great, but the second layer is really beautiful. May just have to again dab and kind of work with this formula. It's a metallic sheen. And last up is Xena, which is a light lilac lavender matte shade. Alright, there is the last and bottom row of shades. That was really bizarre. Everything was such smooth sailing until we hit this color, Exotic. And then these 2 shades were kind of like, whoa, what happened there? But with those 2 exceptions, these shades seem to apply very smoothly and with good pigmentation and color. Alright, there we have the shades in Natasha Denona's new limited edition Tropic palette. As I said, I think in terms of the quality, it seems overall very good, with the noticeable exception of the exotic shade. And just to be clear, I didn't do anything different when swatching that shade. I used the same brush. All those colors were applied over an eyeshadow primer with a light dusting of a setting powders to smooth it out. So it was the same conditions that I swatch every other shade, but that one was it skipped so much and was very patchy. So that's kind of strange that the formula would change so much with that one shade. The deeper blue shade, we did see problems initially, but it very easily built up to be opaque, so I don't have as much of an issue with that. Now, overall, if you're just looking at quality, this is a great palette. In terms of the shades, obviously you would need to be interested in more of these really bright, not only tropical, but also pastel shades. I do appreciate that the mattes are so good in formula. It's harder to get mattes to be smooth and pigmented the same way that more shimmery shades tend to be. So I do like that the mattes in this palette are all very high quality. So let me know in the comment section below what you think. Personally, I just don't see paying $130 for an eyeshadow palette like this. I think the one exception that I can think of is Pat McGrath, and the quality of the shadows in those palettes is far superior to the ones in the Natasha Denona palettes. I know everyone raves and rants about the Natasha Denona formula, but the Pat McGrath formula beats Natasha Denona any day of the week. So if you're gonna shell out that amount of money, I say might as well go all the way and get a Pat McGrath palette. And if you are really struggling with the concept of paying so much for a palette, then don't do it. There are other options. Even something like a BH Cosmetic palette can perform in virtually the same way in terms of the end of the day look if you put it over a base, for example, to strengthen the color, things like that. It's just, it's a personal decision whether that amount of money is worth it to get a little bump, or even, a medium-sized bump in the quality of the formula. So those are my thoughts. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. I hope that this video was helpful to you if you were debating about whether to shell out the money for the palette. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video.